it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and today we're going to split a little bit of firewood. I'm going to give you an overview of this new Champion 27-ton log splitter, and then I'm going to show you what my plans are for our firewood processing area. Now, I used to heat my house with a wood stove, and back then I split all the wood with a splitting maul by hand. But now we have this land and some timber, and we're going to process more firewood, and we're going to sell some on the side. So I want to have a more efficient setup. So you'll notice I've already got a cover on the log splitter. And that's because even though I intend to keep it up in my equipment shed, we have a lot of equipment that goes in that shed, and there may be a scenario where I have to leave it out a little bit, and I want to keep it protected from the elements. Now, a friend of mine over at Wood's Tree Farm has done several videos on this log splitter. So if you're thinking about getting one, you might go over and check out Wood's Tree Farm. All right, so let's get the cover off of it and get started. So if you're thinking about getting this log splitter and you're doing price comparisons and trying to decide where to buy it, one thing to keep in mind is that they have 3 different versions of this 27-ton log splitter that look the same but aren't exactly the same. So there are 2 variables to look at that might be affecting the price you're seeing. Number 1 is the engine size. This is a 224 cc. They also make a 196 cc. Then the second variable is the cycle time. This has an 11-second cycle time. It's also available in a 16-second cycle time. So I think that cycle time really is a big deal because mine is the faster cycle time, but it already seems kind of slow. So I really don't think I'd want the 16 unless I was just getting a great deal on it. That's just something to factor in and keep in mind. So let's look at some things I like about it. Number 1, it's heavy built, but it's not heavy. I can easily pick it up and move it by hand. I also like that it has an auto return on the lever. It can be run standing up or laying down like it is right now. Most people prefer to run them in the horizontal position, but if you want to stand it up, you just pull one pin, and it's not light, but I mean, one person can easily stand it up and use it that way. So let's fire it up and split some wood. All right, so we've got 2 levers right here. The top one is the choke lever, so we'll put that onto choke. The bottom one is the fuel lever. So I've got the fuel turned off right now. I started it up and ran it the other day just for a minute to make sure it was gonna start all right. And whenever I was done, the way I shut it off is to turn off the fuel lever and let it run till it dies. So I think I'm going to be happy with this splitter. I like that it has the auto return on the lever. About the only thing that I already don't like is that this shelf is a little bit small. I may look and see if I can find an extended shelf to put on it so you can have a couple of pieces of wood up there at a time. So obviously I didn't split a whole lot of wood today. I've got quite a few other things to get done, but I wanted to work on getting my area set up and kind of establishing where everything's going to go and how we're going to do things. So I picked up an IBC tote this morning and I'm going to cut that out. That'll probably go in the next video because I'm going to use these IBC totes to store and transport the firewood that we cut. What we had today to split was just a little bit of pine that I cut down a couple of trees up by the house. Then right behind the camera, I've got a couple of big logs that I drug out of the woods in previous videos, but I haven't really kicked into gear yet. I'm just getting all my equipment set up and deciding what my process is going to be. One consideration is the best way to move the log splitter. So I have a hitch on the back of the trailer and I have a hitch that I can put on the front of the trailer. But a lot of times I'm going to be using the grapple to hold the logs up in the air, and for doing that I want as much weight on the back as possible. So having the rear hitch on to move the log splitter doesn't give me that ballast. Now I could get a ballast box that has a hitch on it is one option. Also, this heavy hitch setup that I have can hold suitcase weights, but those are expensive. And so I'm kind of considering those options, but I also ordered a receiver hitch for our four-wheeler so that if I want a different attachment on the back or a certain configuration on the tractor, I don't have to use it to move the log splitter necessarily. It's a lot like setting up the manufacturing facility that we have up on the hill. It's a process to make things efficient and get everything set up where you can work efficiently. So, for instance, I just split this wood and threw it on the ground, and now I'll have to pick it up again to stack it in the tote. I want to handle the wood the fewest amount of times possible. So I think my initial process is going to be lining IBC totes along this and set my logs in the general area in front of those IBC totes so that I can just split and go straight in and park the splitter wherever I'm at on the totes. So we've got a few logs right behind the camera here that need cut up. And then I've got some logs back in the timber that we need to bring out here and cut those up, see if those are salvageable as firewood. And then after that, we're going to start felling some trees. So if you like this kind of video or you enjoy tractor videos, then please subscribe to the channel. In just a minute, you're going to see links to a couple more of our videos pop up on the screen right here. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.